The House Freedom Caucus today met to talk about Paul Ryan's future as Speaker. Politico reports that members of the caucus decided to talk about asking for a slot in the House leadership in exchange for backing Ryan for another term as Speaker. Now, I call that yellow dog politics. The leadership position would reportedly be low on the pecking order, but still would be the first time a House Freedom Caucus member became part of the leadership. You know, that's the leadership that has been fighting the party's nominee. That's the leadership that is lined up with the Obama White House. That's the leadership that is, I think, about as mediocre and inept as one could imagine. The leadership elections, if you're interested, are slated for November 15th. Well, joining me now, Randy Evans, a member of the RNC Rules Committee, chairman of the Republican National Lawyers Association, former senior advisor for the Newt Gingrich presidential campaign of 2012. Good to have you with us. Charlie Spies, former election law counsel for the RNC and CFO for Romney's 2008 presidential campaign. Both great Americans. Good to have you here. Let's start.
Good to be here.
Let's start, Charlie, with this decision on the part of a district court judge, a federal district court judge in New Jersey, to turn over emails, everything pertaining to the Republican Party's, what would you call it, monitoring, to the Democrats. What the heck was that?
Okay, so this stems from a 1981 consent decree that the Democrats every 4 years...
So 35 years fresh.
Right. Every 4 years, they try to intimidate Republicans from doing any sort of election monitoring.
Well, it must work, or they wouldn't keep trying. Well,
they get sympathetic... one sympathetic judge in New Jersey who is willing to enforce this.
So what you're going to do with this this fellow who's acting like an operative of the Democratic Party instead of a federal judge?
I think the facts are on the Republican side. The consent decree doesn't apply to Donald Trump. It doesn't apply to state parties. As long as the Republican National Committee can show they weren't involved, then
so is everything
this
everything good?
Good?
Everything good?
I can't predict what these judges do.
Randy, is everything good? You need help here.
Everything's absolutely good. I talked to John Ryder, the general counsel to the Republican National Committee. We walked through the facts. There's nothing to it. It's based on somebody they found in Nevada who didn't know what they were actually responding to, and otherwise, you have the cleanest RNC record ever simply because an expiration date was finally set on this order. It is set to expire late next year. And so the net effect was we on the RNC said, don't even come close to the line. Don't take any risk whatsoever. And so there's not going to be anything to it.
All right, let's turn to what we were watching unfold. And Charlie, this has got to be of great concern to you because right now we have learned through WikiLeaks, the great reporting of the Wall Street Journal, and some other sources, including FBI sources primarily, that this is one of the most corrupt administrations since, in my opinion, since Nixon. That the Clinton cartel is the most pervasive and corrupt to persist and survive over almost 3 decades. Why would you or anyone else have risked putting her into the White House? And what kind of sense of responsibility do you feel if she were to win?
I agree with you. The problem here is the Obama Justice Department and Eric Holder moving to Loretta Lynch and the way they've tried to prejudge their friend Hillary Clinton. Right. Totally unacceptable. And it goes up to the top when President Obama...
They're corrupt, are they not? Can those words flow from the lips of folks who live in the nation's swamp, that is Washington, D.C.? This is corruption. This is not the American way.
I've said they're the most corrupt Justice Department in history. I've said that for a long time.
Then we're an absolute... Do we think it goes higher?
At least unintentionally. When President Obama said that there was no national security risk, that sent a message to the FBI and the DOJ.
Randy, your thoughts on the extent of this corruption? And by that, I'm talking about the Clinton cartel, its foundation, its operations. It's exhaustive and pervasive corruption that has gone on unchecked for years, and largely because over the last almost 8 years of this administration's passivity, if not complicity.
Lou, my grandmother had a great saying. She said, a zebra can't change its stripes, and here a Clinton can't change their pattern of corruption. From the first Clinton presidency to the one that might come about, I don't believe it'll come about, we're going to have a pattern of corruption that just extends on and on. The fact is, it's like a cancer. Corruption just spreads. And the only way you can get rid of it is to actually cut it out. You can't just hope it'll go away, it'll shrink on its own, or that it won't expand. And you've seen it expand. You've seen it expand to rigging a primary. You've seen it expand all the way to rigging an FBI investigation. It will rig everything, and that's what we're seeing.
Do you both agree with me that we would not be here if it were not for the candidacy of Donald Trump, who has promised to drain the swamp, who has promised to take on the establishment? Because this corruption, it seeps into both parties, and in some, it animates them in some cases. What do you think?
I think that's the perfect closing message for Donald Trump. I love the message. I hope he can stay with it. I do think that the Clinton problems, their corruption goes way earlier than Donald Trump.
Well, I would hope so. I don't even know what relationship they would have to Donald Trump.
Well, they were at the wedding together. I mean,
oh, for Christ's sake. Charlie, I'll let you get off on that question. I'll bring it to you. If hell breaks loose and she wins, it's on your head, it's on Romney's head, and all the folks who took on the position that you just have expressed. Randy Evans, you get the last word.
Well, all I was just going to say is that we have no reason to. I would challenge the Clinton campaign to tell us something that they've done that wasn't corrupt. Just pick one. Tell us something you've done that wasn't corrupt.
While we wait for that, Randy, we're going to have to go to a commercial break to make sure we're here for the answer. Randy Evans, Charlie Spies, thank you both. We appreciate it.
Thank you.